Those are the three head coaches of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Some teams have had three head coaches in the past 4 years, or a lot more than that.
It's amazing.
Since the Steelers last hired a head coach. So here's where we are. Steelers are going to be hiring a coach. Who should they hire? Who will they hire? And who should want that job? That's what we want to tackle. And we're not going to spend as much time talking about that as we talked about Tomlin's side of it. But from the Steelers side of it, that's the important next question. Who do you think they will target, Chris?
Well, I think the first thing is a little bit of like what you're talking about here and desirability for the job. We know it's the Steelers brand. It's one of the marquee organizations in the sport, the fan base. It's more than just Pittsburgh. The Steelers are a national team. They're a national brand. They're one of the few teams that's like that in our country. So that's where it's special and it's appealing. And then, of course, it's appealing because, for compared to other teams, you feel like, hey, it feels like the coach is going to be able to go there and coach. You're going to coach. You're going to be able to do your thing. Right? Like you said, the Rooneys might meddle a little bit, but I don't think it's overbearing compared to maybe some of the other owners out there. But when you get into the team itself, you already heard. I don't think this is if you're just looking at the roster, I don't think this is one of the top-notch jobs in the sport right now. There is a whole bunch of other teams that I would look at to go, I think are set up way better than the Pittsburgh Steelers. And that's what would worry me if I was sitting out there as a guy that could be a head coaching candidate. Like you heard me discuss. Yeah, we okay, great. We got some linemen, that's sure. I don't know if we really got our starting running back. I don't know if we really got another receiver other than the DK Metcalf, right? Freiermuth, I think, is coming to the end of the contract. Defensively, I mean, Patrick Queen's kind of been a disappointment in Pittsburgh. Cam Hayward's older. There's no other D lineman we ever talk about, really, other than Cam Hayward. That's not good. The guy that's in year 15 is still like maybe your best D lineman. Then you got TJ Watt. Okay, still awesome. You got Highsmith. All right, you got Highsmith and Herbig. Sure, certainly. I think Highsmith's coming to the end of the contract. But the secondary, no talent there, really. So that's where I look at it and go, no, the cupboard's kind of dry in Pittsburgh. There's work to be done there. I think from a pure roster standpoint, I think it's down the list a little bit as far as job openings, at least in my mind.
Yeah, but it's the Steelers.
It's the Steelers. And I hear you.
I think it's a mistake to make short-term decisions because they can and will have opportunities to turn things around and build up the team. But I don't disagree with the fact that right now you take a snapshot at this moment, it's not as attractive as, let's say, the Tennessee Titans, where they have Cam Ward and $100 million in cap space, and they're going into a new stadium,
right,
and the expectations are low. Because that's the thing. Whoever takes his Steelers job is going to be following a legend. And in the eyes of the 30% of the fan base that was ready to fire Mike Tomlin at the drop of a hat, they're going to be thinking wistfully of Mike Tomlin, and they're going to be thinking, man, this guy's worse than the guy that we've been trying to fire for 15 years. And speaking of that point, I did the research real quickly because it didn't take a whole lot of brain power, which qualifies me to do it. The Steelers have had 3 coaches since 1969. The Browns have had 9 coaches since the Steelers hired Mike Tomlin. They've had, what's the number? 21 coaches since 1969, and they didn't even exist for 3 years. I'll participate in the fiction that the Browns are the Browns and the Browns aren't the Ravens and the Ravens aren't the Browns. Let's just assume it's one franchise, unitary franchise that's been in Cleveland since it was founded, but for the 3 years that it didn't exist, they've had 21 coaches in the time that the Steelers have had 3.
Right. Yeah, no, it's amazing that way, and that is the beauty of that job. There's no doubt about that. So, yeah, there's, a shine to it and all of that. And as we know in the modern-day NFL, it doesn't take a whole lot to flip your team around. But I do think this will be a little bit more work than maybe a Chicago Bears project or some of those type of football teams. I think it is. And, of course,
they had Caleb Williams.
Well, and exactly. And that's the other big thing. That's exactly where I was going. There's a quarterback situation, and in a year right now where, Pittsburgh's not going to be drafted in very high, and I don't think there's going to be a ton of quarterbacks out there that are just really going to be like, oh, that's the franchise guys right now. I mean, so we'll see where that goes. As we sit here right now, I mean, Mendoza, we know. It feels like, and maybe it officially happened, and I didn't even see it over the last 24 to 36 hours, maybe the Dante Moore kid from Oregon, right? We know Ty Simpson from Alabama. Are those guys going to be there, though, in the 20s when the Pittsburgh Steelers are drafting? I don't know about that. And I'm not sure necessarily those guys that I'm sold on. We know Mendoza's going to be gone, right? Dante Moore is young, and I still think needs to develop a little bit, has the talent, right? But are they definitely the guys that you just go, ooh, slam dunks, we're going to go forward with them and win here? So that's where, it's tough.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.